Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of Late Night Television where the unexpected becomes the unforgettable, and tonight's story is one that has sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, revolving around the infamous incident where Johnny Depp, the enigmatic actor known for his captivating performances in films like Pirates of the Caribbean and Edward Scissorhands, found himself in a heated clash on Jimmy Fallon's The Tonight Show that led to him being unceremoniously kicked off the set, an event that unfolded on May 18, 2025, during what was supposed to be a light-hearted promotional interview for his latest indie film project, a dark comedy titled Shadows of the Forgotten, directed by an up-and-coming auteur from Europe. And as the cameras rolled under the bright studio lights of Rockefeller Center in New York City, the audience buzzed with anticipation, expecting the usual charm and wit from Depp, who has long been a favorite guest on late-night shows due to his eccentric storytelling and self-deprecating humor. But little did they know that beneath the surface lay simmering tensions from Depp's tumultuous personal life, including the lingering effects of his high-profile defamation trial against his ex-wife Amber Heard, which had divided public opinion and left scars on his public persona, making every appearance a potential minefield of questions about privacy, redemption, and the media's role in celebrity scandals. And as Jimmy Fallon, the affable host with his signature boyish grin and infectious energy, kicked off the segment with his typical enthusiasm, welcoming Depp with open arms and a barrage of compliments about his enduring career spanning decades, from his breakout role in 21 Jump Street to his collaborations with Tim Burton that redefined quirky cinema. The conversation flowed smoothly at first, with Depp recounting anecdotes from the set of his new film, describing how the character he plays, a reclusive artist grappling with inner demons, mirrored some of his own struggles with fame and isolation, and the audience laughed heartily at his impressions of co-stars and directors. But then, as Fallon steered the discussion toward more personal territory, asking about Depp's life post-trial and how he was handling the public's scrutiny, the atmosphere shifted subtly, with Depp's easy smile tightening into something more guarded, his eyes flickering with a mix of wariness and defiance. And it was here that the first sparks of the clash ignited, when Fallon, perhaps innocently or perhaps probing for ratings gold, referenced a recent tabloid story suggesting Depp had been involved in yet another altercation at a Hollywood party, a rumor that Depp immediately dismissed as fabricated nonsense. But Fallon pressed on, joking about how celebrities like Depp always seem to be at the center of drama, which elicited awkward chuckles from the crowd but clearly struck a nerve with the guest, who set down his coffee mug with a deliberate thud, his voice dropping to a serious tone as he explained that such stories were not just gossip but weapons designed to undermine his hard-won peace after years of legal battles and public trials that had aired his most private pains for the world to judge. And as the exchange grew tenser, with Fallon trying to lighten the mood by pivoting to a game segment involving audience participation, where Depp was supposed to draw silly caricatures of himself in various movie roles, the actor's frustration boiled over when a fan from the audience shouted a question about the Heard trial, bypassing the host entirely, and Depp, caught off guard, responded with a passionate defense of his innocence and the toll it had taken on his mental health, accusing the media of perpetuating lies for clicks and views, which prompted Fallon to interject, reminding everyone that this was a family show and to keep things fun. But Depp, now fully engaged in his rant, turned his ire toward the host, questioning why late-night TV always danced around the edges of serious issues without committing to real conversations, labeling it as superficial entertainment that profited from celebrities' vulnerabilities without offering genuine support. And the studio audience, sensing the shift from banter to confrontation, fell into a hushed silence broken only by the occasional gasp or murmur, as producers in the control room likely scrambled behind the scenes, weighing whether to cut to commercial or let the moment play out for the viral potential it undoubtedly held. And as the argument escalated, with Depp standing up from his chair and gesturing emphatically, his voice rising in volume as he declared that he wouldn't be reduced to a punchline for someone's monologue, Fallon, usually unflappable, began to show signs of discomfort, his laughs turning forced and his attempts at redirection falling flat, until finally, After a particularly pointed remark from Depp about how hosts like Fallon benefited from the very scandals they pretended to joke about, the host signaled to security with a subtle nod, and within moments, burly guards appeared stage left, politely but firmly escorting the actor off the set amid a chorus of boos and cheers from the divided audience, leaving Fallon to ad-lib an awkward wrap-up, apologizing for the misunderstanding and transitioning hastily to the musical guest. But the damage was done, and as the cameras cut away, social media erupted in real time, with hashtags like #DeppVS.Fallon and #KickedOffTonight Show trending worldwide within minutes, fans and critics alike dissecting every frame of the exchange, some praising Depp for standing his ground against what they saw as invasive questioning, while others criticized him for derailing a fun interview and accused him of being overly sensitive. And news outlets from TMZ to the New York Times rushed to publish breaking stories, speculating on the implications for Depp's career, whether this outburst would jeopardize his comeback trajectory or solidify his image as a rebellious icon unwilling to play by Hollywood's rules. And as the night wore on, clips of the clash circulated endlessly, fueling debates about the boundaries between public figures' private lives and the entertainment industry's insatiable appetite for drama, with celebrities like Elon Musk tweeting support for Depp's right to privacy, and even Tim Burton issuing a statement lamenting the misguided nature of such public spectacles. But at the heart of it all was the raw emotion of a man who had endured unimaginable scrutiny, pushed to his limit on live television, transforming a routine appearance into a cultural moment that would be remembered for years to come. And this is just the beginning of unpacking what really happened that fateful evening, delving deeper into the backstories, the reactions, and the lasting repercussions that followed in the days and weeks after, as Hollywood grappled with the fallout from one star's unfiltered honesty clashing with the polished facade of late-night TV. Word count: 1,024 approximate characters, 6,125 a note. To reach 10,000 characters, the following continuation expands with more details, analysis, and narrative depth. Now, to truly understand the gravity of this incident, we must rewind a bit further into Johnny Depp's journey leading up to that explosive night, considering how his career, once a glittering array of blockbusters and artistic triumphs, had been overshadowed by personal turmoil, starting with his 2016 divorce from Amber Heard, which spiraled into a series of allegations, lawsuits, and countersuits that painted him as both victim and villain in the court of public opinion, with leaked audio recordings, graphic testimonies, and paparazzi photos dominating headlines for years, culminating in the 2022 Virginia defamation trial that Depp won, but at a tremendous emotional cost, as he revealed in subsequent interviews his battles with depression, substance abuse, and a profound sense of betrayal by those closest to him, including former friends and colleagues who sided with Heard. And this backdrop of vulnerability made every public outing a high-stakes gamble, where a single offhand comment could reignite old flames of controversy. And Jimmy Fallon, known,